Coming up on Paratruth Reborn, we'll be talking to Ruchi Bhutani about mediumship and energy work.
Welcome to Paratruth.
How's it going, Paratruthers? Welcome to another episode of Paratruth Reborn. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric.
And tonight we are super stoked to bring on Ruchi Bhutani to talk about these different things that she does. Ruchi, welcome to Paratruth Reborn.
Thank you so much for having me here, Justin and Eric. It's a pleasure coming here.
So first, to start us off, what first led you to discover that you had these abilities?
Okay. So, to be honest, it took me a lot of years to actually understand all these abilities and to accept it that I am born with these abilities. So, in my early childhood years, I used to have dreams, I used to have visions, which I never acknowledged. And when I tried to share it with my family, so, just like every other normal family, they were like, they are just illusions. You are just thinking too much and you are talking about lots of things and watching TV. So it might be happening because of that. But at the age of 32, that was the time when I actually realized that no, this is just not normal and this is something else. And the moment I was realizing it, that was the moment when everything started back again. The visions, the paranormal things started happening with me. And this time, being an adult, I wasn't asking for help. I was not going to anyone asking the questions. I started researching about it, what's happening with me, and what is all these things are, because none in my family, nowhere, nobody knows about any of these things, nobody talks about any of these things. But then I started researching and then I started understanding myself more, and then finally I got lots of labels to all these things, and that's how the journey started.
Wow.
Awesome.
Well, was there like at any point in your life, like a aha moment, like, oh, this is it. This is, these things that I'm seeing and that I'm understanding is real, and I have to accept it.
Yes. It was a part of my journey and very close to my heart, which actually gave me the full acceptance, which actually gave me, just go for it. You are meant for it. You have to do it. In so the journey started way too bad, but the major breakthrough was in 2019 when I had my second pregnancy. That at that time, what happened is like uh, I couldn't carry that baby, and in 8 weeks approximately, I had a miscarriage. So nothing was wrong in my body. Everything was normal. Everything was like going pretty fine. There was nothing in my body that we could say this is the reason. Or there was nothing wrong with the baby that doctors could say this was the reason. So there was no reason behind that. But the day I had that miscarriage, I started listening to a small voice talking to me, helping me understand what is happening. And that was the day I started believing and accepting everything, because that voice was of my baby. And
Oh,
he still talks to me.
well,
And he is not here. And he told me the entire karma thing also, that why he didn't came. He came, but he couldn't came, he went. So it was the entire story that brought me to my breakthrough of this thing, that no, it is all real.
Yeah.
It is real. There is another world which we just can't acknowledge through our naked eyes, but it exists.
Yeah. It's crazy to think like, you know, I don't always like to use this. Like, I feel like it needs to be used sparingly, but the idea that things happen for a reason, and losing that child would bring you into this new era of your life as well is like incredible. That's something that I can see like being thankful for to an extent.
Yes. Because if I have to say whatever I am today, it's because of my kids, the two that I have in my life, and the one who is guiding me from there.
Now, I struggle with this a lot still. And I think a lot of mediums, at least starting out mediums, do as well, to distinguish the difference between genuine spirit communication versus like imagination or intuition or like your own psyche. How do you do that? How do you distinguish the difference?
Okay, so to distinguish that, for me, like our body is kind of an antenna, right? So if you are doing it, the communication is happening through your mind, right? Where you can say it can be overthinking, or it can be some, OCD kind of a thing where it's like obsessive loops are happening because of your own patterns, because of your own traumas, then your body will be in a different state. But when you are communicating to the spirit world, you generally, there is a difference in the body. You don't have a body. You are vibrating at a different frequency. So you don't have the sense of your body at that time. But at the same time, you are feeling everything what that spirit wants to communicate to you in your body, because at that time, you are not your body, they are using you. And then that's a huge difference that you feel in your body when you are receiving guidance, as in the intuition, when you are just a mental loop is happening, and when you are actually communicating to the spirit world. So for me, it's the differentiation is the body, and the way you feel it, the way you experience it, the way you are held in your body, or you are just become an, kind of a vibrating particles, and which is at a point, it's just there is no difference.
Right.
Right. So that's the difference. When there is just a mental loop, your body is going to tell you it's going to be either rigid or hard resistance, or must be doing something, or you must be shaking your feet, you must be doing. So that's the mental thing happening.
Okay.
With the intuition thing, also your body will be very light. Your body will be in a very calm state, and you will be receiving whatever is coming. But with the spirit communication, it's a hell entire story. You are not here.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I see it here on, for anyone watching too, on your title, Body, Mind, and Soul Alignment Coach, and it's I think of a pyramid or a triangle. Like in order to I apologize. In order to tap into your gifts and use them fully, you need to have all three sides of that triangle. If you only have two, it collapses on itself. And I think a lot of people kind of mistake that. They think, oh, this is a mind only thing, but they don't care for the body or the soul, or they think it's a body, they don't care for the mind and the soul, and it's like you have to work on all three things if you want to progress in your spiritual journey.
True. Indeed. Because, your body and your mind are the tools which you use to actually enter into that frequency which we call soul.
Sure.
Right. So there are sayings, in the spiritual world also, they say, you are not your body, you are not your mind. Right. But at the same time, you are your body and you are your mind. And to reach to that state, saying it through your mind that you are not the body, you are not the mind. It's kind of affirmation. But at the same time, you are feeling the pain here, you are feeling all the sensation in your body. And when you try to meditate, your mind comes into picture, right? So reaching to the state of when you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are even not the soul, you are just the consciousness. Your body is the starting point. Your mind is the tool who actually communicate to your body where to reach, where to go, right? Because this is the body mind coordination, which will actually lead you to bypass the body and mind and to reach to that level of energy, right? So the body mind soul alignment is very much important. Why? Because as a whole, all these three things make you human. And whatever experiences we are talking about, you can only have in this body, acknowledging it through your mind only. That's what you call the experiences of the soul, right? So it's like, they come into alignment, as you said, as you clearly mentioned, that it requires a lot of work, right? But at the same time, it's not difficult. So I believe, and I generally run my programs all to unveil the extraordinary you. We all are extraordinary. It's not that I am a born psychic, right? At that time, nobody was there to tell me, and as a kid, I was not aware of things by myself, so I shut it down. I wasted my gifts. Same way, everyone has some or the other gift. Everyone is unique. We just forgot to unveil that extraordinary selves of ours. So everybody has a gift, and we have five senses. Every one of us has one prominent sense, always, right? And that will become your go-to for increasing the sensitivity of the rest of the four senses, right? Because you need a starting point, and the entire universe is yours.
Oh yeah, and I notice a lot when I'm meditating. I do a lot of sensory meditating. So, I try to clear my mind, but then I focus in on the things around me, the sounds, the little movements, and I try to feel those energies vibrating. And like, like I'll be sitting there and I can feel my cat approach me. I won't hear him, but I can feel the warmth of his body
Yes.
heat or his energy, right? Um,
And you are feeling it in your body. Your awareness
right.
level of your body is increasing.
Right. Yeah. And it's just so incredible when you, in my opinion, and from what I've experienced, when you allow yourself to feel those things and really consider them, because some people will feel them and just pass them off like, oh, that's, whatever's nothing. But when you actually meditate on those things that you're feeling, you start to like expand your horizons and you start feeling these energies around you when you're out and about as well. Like there's times where I come across a person, like just walking by them and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get too close to that person because the energy is weird. I
Yes.
got to wash that off. But it's always incredible to like thinking of the triangle and how that all works together because it really is
Right.
meant to all work together.
Right. And I would like to mention one more thing. When we talk about meditation, sometimes people confuse it with, chanting some mantra or doing something. That's not the real meditation, because in the way you are doing it, focusing on some chanting or something, it is okay to start with, but at the end, that is also meditation. Is like, I always say that you cannot do meditation, you become meditative. So what that mean is, you observe, you become an observer to what thoughts are coming. You need not to, just switch your focus from these thoughts to something else or something else, right? And when you start chanting and it brings you calmer, you do your grounding practices starting with, then it brings you to a calmer state, and then you allow your body, your senses to observe. Like you said, slowly and gradually you start observing. Then sometimes people say, there are lots many times people come to me, they say, when we do that, so we start to get distracted from the voices around, from the people coming nearby. And like, that's not distraction. That's actual meditation where you are getting sensitive to everything around you. Because that's what is going to bring you to awareness. You are here. You need not to go anywhere else. You just need to be here, fully present. That's what is happening. So it's a good sign.
Now, I know you mentioned before we got on air that you don't do as many psychic medium readings anymore. So I really wanted to concentrate a lot on the soul healing and energy work, because I know you kind of do a lot of that. Um, how would you define soul healing for someone who has never heard of it before?
Hmm. Okay. So, for a layman who had never heard about it, soul healing is nothing but it actually helps you living a better life where more good things are happening in your life. Life is soothing, right? And you are getting more aware about why things are happening, and knowing that you have the power to change your life and live a life that you always kind of a dream of, or you think of, what if this thing happened. But generally people's what ifs are generally negative. So bringing that to positive, we talk about manifestation, we talk about, we I am inspired by that person, that person life is perfect. So soul healing is nothing but bringing you to awareness that you are the creator of your own life, and whatever is happening in your life, you are letting that happen. You can change it any moment, and you can live a life that you desire for yourself.
Okay. So kind of like co-creation. We're trying to create our reality along with the divine or the universe or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I think just going off of what you're saying, like what are the big misconceptions I think that I come across a lot, myself included, is that a lot of people, when it comes to healing in general, for whether it's emotional trauma, etc., they try to heal from the outside in. But if you look at physical wounds, that like literal physical wounds, they usually heal from the inside out. They slowly shrink. And I think that's one that this is like epiphany, light bulb that I just got, because I never thought about it that way. But it's like, in order to truly heal, you do need to heal from the inside out, starting first and foremost with the soul. And then that will expand outwardly as you grow in that healing journey.
Hmm. So, if I get your question right, so it's about the soul healing when we talk about, as we all say, as we all know, that we came here, the human form, right? For all those experiences, and sometimes we talk about the karmas also, right? So, what we are doing here, we are here to learn our lessons, right? And when you are talking about the wounds, what are those wounds? In a simple term, those wounds are the mistakes that we keep repeating. You have to write the A like this. This is A, that everybody understood, right? But you tried to write it like this, and people told you, oh no, this is not A. And you trying to tell them, oh, this is A for me,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? This is A for me, right? And I recognize A this way only.
Okay.
But how people say it, no, you are wrong. A is like this. This is A. You are wrong. And then what is happening? Contradictions, conflicts of your own identity. You start believing what people told you who you are. You forgot who you are. And that's the major wound. You keep living life the people want you to live. And that's the wound. And that's where, when we talk about healing or the soul healing, the very first question of the spiritual seeker is, who am I? Because they have a conflicted identity. They have a identity of, I am a father, I am a son, I am a husband, I am a friend, and then with the women's also. But beyond these labels, when you are alone, who are you? Then there is a conflict of the identity, because my A is like this, but everybody say no, A is like this, right? So this is what the inside out healing and the outside in healing, where you say no to the outside. Okay, let me figure out how I recognize A.
And
How I recognize A.
I feel like, and that's what you're saying is like, there's a reason why so many people nowadays, especially adults, who don't feel fulfilled by life. Whether it's their job or whatever it is. Like I feel like around the world, it's like you should be married by this age. You should have this many kids by this time. You should have this particular type of job or make this kind of money in order to be happy. And people do all those things, and then they're like, "Wait, who am I?" And I don't want this job. I don't. I'm not happy being where I'm at right now.
And I don't want any of these responsibility. I want to be free.
Yeah.
And that's why, I don't know whether you have heard about it or not, but then, moksha, nirvana, all these things come into picture. Why? Because everybody wants to run from their life.
Mhm.
And at the same time, everybody talks about our, spiritual scriptures also talk about that life is worth living, first thing. And secondly, you get it after so many forms, right? And you prayed for this form. And the moment you are in this form, you want to run from it.
Mhm.
So you don't want to run from the life. Actually, you haven't experienced life till now. You are running from the responsibilities and the labels because they are tiring, they are burdensome. Because there again, that's not your A. That's the defined A.
Right.
That's the definition the society and the world had given to you. There are so many times a kid I want to be a painter. Oh, what you are going to do be a painter? They have a set, in every part of the world, based on the cultural values and everything. Every family has the same life cycle, right? You take any part of the world. Everyone has the same life cycle: birth, then growing up, going to school, or not going to school. Some have good families, some have little troublesome families. And then, they grow up, they go through the same thing. Everything is same everywhere. There is no difference, right? At the same time, everyone is suffering because the life cycle is same. At the same time, there are very few people who are actually really happy and fulfilled.
Right.
And why? We all have same life cycle. But then where is the difference?
Right.
Oh, and so many people have told us both that we choose these things that we're experiencing before we incarnate. And I think a lot of people think, why in the hell would I choose these particular pains to go through? Also think about what happened in my previous lives where I had to learn these things in this particular incarnation. And you do past life regression in your work. Has anybody ever resolved anything from things that you've told them about their past lives?
Mm. I'll not go far. I resolve things for myself first. Right. So it's just not the past life, it's the life in between life part also, which
Okay.
is also very important because, the moment that life is ending and the new life is beginning, in between that, lots of things happen. So the thing that you are asking is, I still do these kinds of cases. They are the regular things because, the spirituality is taking a pace, as we all say, the unified thing is, the collective consciousness is rising. So there are so many cases like that. Why? The question is why we choose to go through pain. I myself used to say, as if I'm talking to the universe and I'm asking, I am here to listen. I am listening to you only. Can't you teach me all these things with love? Instead of, just like slapping every time, okay, why I am being slapped? I am here
Right.
listening to you. And I'm listening to only you. I'm not listening to any other person in the world. right? I am trusting and believing the no formless form. People are calling me crazy, and I am still saying I am trusting the formless form. Even then, I am going through all this pain. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, the there, to be honest, there is actually no pain. It's the perception, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Right? It's the perception. So it's like how you are perceiving the thing. The entire it actually changed the entire story. So I used to say the moment you change your perspective to something, your life change. Right? So it doesn't mean that I didn't have the pains in my body. They are real. You feel those pains in your body because being a human, right? You have a constrained boundary, and in that boundary, you have pains, you go through hurts and everything, and they are all real. The pain in the heart, the pain in the body, the headache, all these things are real, right? But why these things are happening? So, okay, I share a very quick thing. I was sharing it 2 3 day back with someone. Uh, I hope that would be okay for everyone. So, being a girl, being a woman, in my childhood, when I was, growing up, when my period started, right? So, I used to have tremendous pain. People generally talk about it. There are cramping, there are pains, there are everything, right? And, matlab, it's like for good years of my life, every month I go through that. And they were like killing. Used to have that level of pain, right? But it's been last 6 years. I don't know where the pains are. So what I figured out during again, why these pains? Because the moment you start questioning, everything, then everything becomes okay. I want to know it. Why?
Right.
And in the process of finding that answer, you heed. Everything goes, right? And if I have to be very specific about those period pains, right? So in the previous lives, there were things happen which were not supposed to happen
Mm.
within a female body, but those things were happen. And during that happening, I guess you understood what I mean, right? So during that happening, I got I was almost dead, right? And the pains were real. So when my body was my soul was leaving my body, that was the impression, the last impressions. We always say, in your last breath, you should always have a divine names on your mouth, right? Why? Because the last impression is very important. Because that are your impression that you are going to carry forward. Then lots of people must have heard about the book, The Body Keeps the Score, right? And that is real. At least in my case and all the cases I'm doing from last 6 years, and I was being researching on diseases, specifically those diseases on which doctors say there is no cure, you have to have the medicine throughout your life. The doctors told me the same thing. But look at me, because I know body keeps the score. The impression that your soul was carrying, when you bring back your body back the next life, right? You are carrying the wounds also in your body, the pains. And the moment you are aware of those pains, from where they are coming, so they are the root. Somewhere the seed has been planted and it keeps growing until and unless you don't go back and remove the unwanted seed that you didn't want it. But it happened, right? Undoubtedly, that happened for a reason. Undoubtedly, that there was a reason for that to happen, right? But considering that, now people say that there was a karma involved. right? That's why that thing happened. I agree to that. But at the same time, I oppose that. I say we attract as an energy being what we carry within ourselves. So there is only one karma, that is with yourself. The moment you keep clearing yourself, the moment you decide to empty yourself of the wounds, or to remove those unwanted seeds that were being planted somewhere down the lane in your journey, whatever reason it was, now it's time to remove that seed and put the new seed with all that awareness that we have gathered in all those years. We are growing, what we say, from being from that civilization to this civilization. We are growing, we are evolving, and this evolution had bring us the opportunity to clear our own self and clear our karma with our own self, right? So those wounds and the life in between lives and all those things actually tell you from where the things are coming and what you need to do to break that, to change that, and again co-create your life
Right.
with that awareness and with that willingness and with that faith that you are really the co-creator of your life. Nobody else is controlling your life from there. And you have been given your mind to actually understand things, understand how universe works, understand how your body works, because you are living in your body, nobody else is living, and you are also not living anywhere else, you are living in your body.
We hope nobody else is living in our body at least.
Yes, you are the only one in your body. And there are that's very interesting thing, there are sometime people come, oh, there is some soul attached to us.
Mm.
Yes, this is true, these things happen, but at the same time they are the rare cases, right? The major cases are people are not ready to see their own shadows.
Yeah.
No.
Right? So when they are doing something which their conditioning or consciousness don't allow, they feel like that somebody forced me to do this. And that's again, there is a difference between, are you really communicating with the spirit, or it is something coming from within you which you yourself are not able to accept about yourself.
Right.
Then again, your body is going to tell you, is it actually external force, or it is something from within, from your mind, that is coming out.
All right. Oh, well, thank you so much. Everybody, we are going to take a quick little break here. Yeah. Let's take a break. We're going to take a quick little break here to hear from our sponsors. But stay tuned and we'll be right back at Paratruth Reborn. A quick thank you to our supporting sponsor, Nodakian Studios. Looking for something truly one of a kind? Nodakian Studios creates high-fired ceramics that are dishwasher, microwave, and food safe. Every mug, bowl, vase, bottle, and planter is wheel-thrown and hand-decorated, making each piece unique. They also offer pottery classes for all skill levels. Whether you're touching clay for the first time or looking to expand your artistic skills, Nodakian Studios, where craftsmanship and creativity come together. Find out more at nodakianstudios.com. Welcome back, everybody. So right before the break, we're kind of talking about how people relate to trauma and how they carry these energies with them. And one thing that kind of came to mind is I have friends who are constantly involved in drama with other friends. There's drama, or family. And they're always like, why is there always drama around me? And then they go home after work and they sit down and they turn on reality TV and they watch all these people on TV.
We'll say quote unquote reality TV.
Quote unquote reality TV. But it's I remember there's this old Native American saying, and I'm going to just very briefly, it's like you got two wolves inside of you. one good, one bad, and the one you feed is the one that wins, the one that is healthy and survives. And it's like you have to realize that in order to remove drama in this case, or anything from you that is negative, you need to remove that outside source as well. That might mean cutting ties, or at least distancing yourself from friends, or maybe distancing yourself from those television shows, because it keeps feeding into your life. It just kind of transfers with you. And I'm definitely, at fault for that too. There's so many times where I become involved in something like, oh, wait, I need to cut ties here, or I need to step away because I'm seeing it creep into my personal life now as well. And I think a lot of us just, we're so busy. We're just so busy. Work, or, hanging out with the family, or doing this, doing that. And it's like, you don't take the time to really sit and think about yourself in your life often. And that's very important when, when you're trying to promote yourself, and become a better person.
Hmm. Okay. So to answer this, I would love to talk about boundaries,
Hmm.
right? Because that's everything what you said comes under this one particular word, the boundary, right? You have to have your boundary. So it is a little funny part, but people call me crazy for this particular thing only, because I say I don't have any boundaries. Because the moment we are creating boundaries, it's not one way, it's two way. When you create boundaries, first thing, you won't be able to radiate what you have, and at the same time you won't be able to receive what you are meant to receive, right? So coming to the, again, from these boundaries to the toxic environments, things that are not good for you, right, that are getting in your skin, that are creating problems for you in your day to day life. So again, it's a perspective how you see them.
Sure.
One way is they are interfering into your life. The other way is, if something is bothering me, or if something is getting into my skin, why I am being triggered, right? And if you create boundaries, if you step out, if you cut the ties, you will never get the awareness of what's the problem. You are running from the problem. So, any point of time, whenever you will face that again, you will again go in that state. Your body is going to tell you, I'm not comfortable here. This is not a good place for me. I am not feeling safe here. Right?
Right.
And I work on a reverse psychology. I say, okay, this thing is, it is some way, I am not comfortable with it. Instead of cutting my ties, I get into that thing more. I get closer to that thing more to understand why this is bringing something in me, why this is shaking something in me. So that's the title of my book also, Beyond Fear, the Tandav of Awakening. Why? Because there is nothing like there is toxic or there is something bad. Everything or every person that is coming your way is for a reason, right? If it is good, it is very good. It is happy go lucky, right? But if it is not good, there is a lesson for you, right? So cutting the ties, people used to tell me also in my journey that you cut the cord. This is a karmic. This is a karmic relationship. And I was like, if it is a karmic relationship, anyhow, today or tomorrow, I have to live that karma. I cannot escape from karma. Then why to wait? Why to waste my life? Let it happen now. So the moment I stepped in, it was more of the fear. You would be amazed to understand that we have mental fears, we have spiritual fears, we have emotional fears, and we have body based fears, which I told you, the body is your antenna. The very first thing, very first sensation, you are comfortable or not, your body tells you. You enter into a space, you come near to a person. If you are feeling safe, you are okay. If you are not, you will start having some kind of sensation either in your stomach, in your heart, or some breathlessness is there. You will have a shallow breath. Your body is telling you, right? And imagine when you are cutting yourself from all those situations, you are cutting yourself from the experiences of life, which you are here to live, which you are here to get. Otherwise, if you are living a normal life, you are not talking to anyone, you are not meeting people, you are keeping in solitude. What kind of a life we are living? We are not experiencing anything, right? So, how I see all these toxic things or relationships, or there are people, they are very happy outside the moment they step into their house. Why? Because the household is where the maximum karma is happening,
Mhm.
right? So instead of running from it, you get to spend more time into it. Like we are also humans. Me and my husband also go through all those things. And one day we were like, we have to have a conversation. Why? Because we are facing problems in our house. Outside, there is nothing, right? So we have to figure out what is happening, what energetic loop that is happening in our house between us that is actually creating the distance. I love you, you love me, we want to spend life together, but there is some resistance and gap that is coming. There is some discomfort that is happening now. Our after almost our 12 years of our marriage, there is something happening, right? What is this? Repulsion is happening energetically if we talk about. So, what is this? We have to figure it out. Then we started working on it. We started understanding. Again, like I told you, you need not to go again back and back to the past life or anything to understand. Whatever is still unfinished, whatever is still there, you will be having the glimpse of that in your current life also. So, the relationships that you are talking about, the situations that you are talking about, this is exactly those situations where there are lessons to learn, where there are patterns to break, where there are triggers to understand, and then consciously choosing and co create what kind of a life, what kind of a relationship you want.
Okay.
And it's not difficult because it's just, you know, I would say the word that I use is you just need to learn how to communicate with grace, understanding that both the parties who are involved, they have some wounds which are unhealed. There are some conversations which were never came out, right? And the moment you do that, be it coming from 10 lives back, be it coming from thousands of lives back, that friction will start reducing and that bond will come back. And that's when you start entering into that unified field of consciousness where everyone, like Dolores Cannon also mentioned about the new earth. What is that? It's the frequency, right? Where there is no karma, where there is no triggers, where there is no friction between people and any situation. It's all soothing and, just flowing like anything.
Hmm.
Right. So, again, like Eric mentioned, that, you know, work on yourself, right? You can work on yourself, but sometimes what you need is you need to sit with people around you because sometimes there is no problem with you. Sometimes the triggers is with them, might be with them only, right? But in the presence, it affects you also. And then you say, okay, I had done my part. I am not at fault. I'll stay out. But then you are not solving the purpose of you being in their life.
Right.
You have to. It's a give and take. That's what karma is. They became the reason for you to get into deeper into all these stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's always comes from the family. It always comes from the family, right?
Yeah.
So they became the reason for you to reach here. Now it's your time to bring them to that state. That's why that relationship. That's why that, that as we say, the marriage is a very thing, and the friends and everything. And there are people who come and go. There are people who come and then stay for some time and then they left. You never think about them. They just go and they never bothered you. They're coming and they're going. Right. But then there are people whose staying is also a problem, whose leaving is also a problem, and whose presence is also a problem. So everywhere they are in you.
Right.
Right. So at that, or in those places, in those situations, for your own peace, you need to, do your part and play a part. You play your role
Right.
in that.
Okay.
Now, something you mentioned when you were asking to come on the show is that you work with energy alchemy, which I had never heard of before, but I kind of have a feeling I get the gist of it. But for those that have never heard of energy alchemy, what exactly is that?
Okay, so as I know, the dictionary meaning, if we talk about the alchemy, is where whatever comes into the process or in the presence of alchemist, it turned into a gold, right? So energy alchemy is when you master your energy, right, and your presence become transformative. In your presence, be you are doing anything or not doing anything, people start getting growing, or they start getting attracted to understand and know more about it, and it's kind of a inspire them to live a life of that kind, right? Just the presence. You are not preaching, you are not saying anything. When you say कि someone's presence just lit up your heart, right? And when they are not present, then you keep thinking about them. What is happening? You are not thinking about them. You are actually thinking about the person which you were in their presence. We never miss anyone. We miss what we were feeling and we were the way we were in their presence. Right? So, energy alchemy is when you yourself, again, this is just a word, but the process is when you connect with yourself to a level where you master your energies to co create your life. And the moment you reach to that point, that's the moment there is no other way. You become the light for others and you will lead the path for so many people who are in your periphery.
Now, when it comes to energy alchemy, like, I guess what role does intention play into it? Because I feel like, some people give off certain energy without realizing it. So how do you tap into that and understand it? And then how do you use intention to change it if, say, it's negative?
Okay. Can you just clarify about when you say intention as in negative? What's that?
So think of like, so when you're around certain people, you feel positive energy from some people, as you were saying, but then you also might feel negative energy. How do you know the type of energy you're giving off yourself personally? And if it's, say, an energy you don't want to give, how does intention play into changing or manifesting a new energy that you want to be felt for?
Okay. So, okay, if I have to explain this, first I need to mention this that for me, there is no negative energy.
Mhm.
There were times that I also used to say, this is positive energy, this is negative energy. But now I say, energy is just energy. Again, it's the perspective with which you are saying it. It will define it whether it's positive or negative. Secondly, when we say that this person has a positive energy and when we say this person has a negative energy. There are so many cases come like that. Okay, we need to help this person. So first thing, the person who has a positive energy, it's all good, right? Everyone has the positive energy in them, positive aspect of them. And the positive and negative is again how you are seeing it and how the person relative to you is experiencing your presence, right? So for me, the person who has a positive energy, as in the layman language, it is good. We work together, there is no harm. And the people say that they have a negative energy, they have something like that, especially, if we have to label, then there are people who say they're a psychopath, narcissist, so they have a negative energy, the way we define it in the physical world. From my perspective, I work more with these kinds of people because they don't carry negative energy. They are the person who are carrying the level of pain which they themselves are not able to heal themselves, and that's what they are radiating. So they are the person who needs more love, more care, more attention, because if the person whom you are calling that the person is having a negative energy, imagine if just their presence is impacting you that much, which you call negative, that person is living in that hell, right? So personally, for me, there is no positive or negative energy. For me, everyone is a human. It's just the level of pain, the level of wounds that they are carrying. It's someone is having some less and someone is having it's too much. That's what they are radiating. We always say, whatever is in your cup, you will spill that. If it's coffee, it's going to be coffee. If it's pain, it's going to be pain. So the person who is actually giving a lot of pain to people, in my understanding and the cases that I was being doing from last 6 years, those are the people who are way too much wounded and they have stoned themselves and they have restricted themselves from feeling the feelings. That's why they are not able to feel anyone else also, right? And you just try it once. For my audience also, if you have such kind of a person in your life, just once go to that person and just ask that person, are you okay? And what you would be able to, not their words, not their actions, but in their eyes, you will get your answers, right? And for me, as I already mentioned, that if this is the case, so majority of the cases that I have is where people had left their hope that this person can change, right? There is no need to change that person. All that person needs is acceptance, right? So that's the way I work, and that is one reason that people, especially the people who have been just pushed out of their families, being saying that they are not good to be with, those kind of people are part of my garden of love, and they are very beautiful person and they become the best of the bestest healers because they know what it feels like to be in pain where nobody is understanding what you are going through.
Right.
So it's another perspective of seeing the negative energy. And similar way, if I have to mention about the non-physical forms, right? People say they poke you, they disturb you. No, they don't do that. It's just any time or every time we humans feel that there is some kind of energy, what we do, we burn the sage, we do lots of rituals to send them out. That's afraid, that make them fearful, right? Where they are going to go, it's It's just a space everywhere for them,
Right.
right? So once I was doing session with a family, so they were having some spirits at their house. Like I told you, these all the things exist. They are all real, right? So what they used to do is like again doing the same thing, doing some rituals, doing some things, doing some mantras, doing some sort of things what people or astrologers were telling them, right? But again, after some time, they used to come back. So we did a session of spirit communication where what we find out that when we were communicating, so the spirits told me that this is our house. They came here 5 years back. This is our place. We are living here since so long. But since the day they had come, they keep doing something or the other to throw us out. This is our house. And, like again, as a human, you will say, this is not your place. Here, humans live. You have some special places where you will be safe, where you will be people like them. But, when you listen to their stories, they were telling us how they were died
Mm.
in that place from that old house that was burned. Their soul was stuck,
Oh.
right? They don't know where to go. They don't know how to sail through. They don't know any other place, right? And every time we were using any kind of rituals or anything, they were getting more fearful because again the fire element was there,
Okay.
right? So the moment the fire or any rituals were being done, they used to protect themselves, which felt like they are attacking on the humans. So it was like one energy is fearful, they are doing something, they are making the other person more fearful. Just a reaction. Somebody, you know,
Right.
prank with you, right? And you got afraid. And then with your reaction, they get afraid. So that kind of thing. So the non physical forms there are again negative energies which are very, kind of a naughtiest of the naughty. They really want to play with you, they really want to harm you also. But at the same time, not everyone is like that.
Mm.
And again, in that realm also, the naughtiest souls, they were also being,
Mhm.
had gone through lots of experiences which make them this way. It's kind of a revengeful energy that they did this thing to me, now I'm going to do this thing to them. Again, that's the consciousness, that the last impression and the what they are facing again and again and again,
Right.
right? But again, being communicating to the both the words, it's easy to communicate with them. They understand things very easily, but when it comes to human, it's like lots of ego is also coming and they don't understand. So there is a lot of huge gap, but the concept is same. It's communicate with grace. If you learn to communicate with grace, be it humans or be it non-humans,
Yeah.
everybody just wants to be heard, to be held, and everyone has the capacity to hold also at the same time. And these are the same energy. What we say, we convert energy can neither be created nor destroyed, can only be converted from one form to another. Imagine if you talk about someone negative energy, it's immense power. Anger is a negative energy. Imagine the intensity that you have when you are angry, and if you convert and channelize it to do something beautiful, you can create castles for people.
All right, Ruchi, it is about time to let you go, but I wanted to give you the chance to tell everybody where they can find you, find your work. The mic's all yours.
Okay, people can find me with the name Ruchi Mystic Venice or Ruchi Bhutani on social media, or they can directly reach out to me at connect@ruchibhutani.com or coach ruchibhutani@gmail.com. And you can WhatsApp me or text me at +1 639 470 9778. And I really want to thank both of you for having me here and for such a beautiful conversation.
Well, thank you for being on
Thank
Paratruth
you.
Born. All right, folks. We asked our Paratruther community group on Facebook, do you believe everyone has intuitive or psychic abilities? 45 said yes, everybody has them. 36% said some people are naturally gifted. 9% said not sure. And 1% said don't believe psychic abilities exist. And 9% more said many people aren't born into a supportive environment that encourages that. Did you take the poll, or where does your thoughts?
I did take the poll.
Okay, which one was yours?
That very much everybody has the ability, and it's more so, not more so, but you can connect to it through meditation and understanding your soul work.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with that 100%. I did not take the poll this time because I always am, and I feel like I'm messing up the percentage when everybody hears my opinion anyways. But until next week, folks, where you will hear us same time, same channel. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric. Peace.